everyone, Letizia here on the Subtropical Florida Gulf Coast, Zone 10, and welcome to the 2024 Summer Garden Tour, where I'm going to be focusing on my tropical perennials that I am growing here in my backyard and front yard garden. We have so much to see, so let's get started. So this is where we started, and this is where we're going. And I must say, the ground looks so much better. We've been having so much rain, and of course all of the plants in the garden love the rain, but so does the grass and the weeds. And my husband did come out here and mow the yard, but I do want to say this, that in my summer season, my garden is very weedy and overgrown, and you were very close to seeing it at how it really is, but he was just able to get the yard mowed, try to beat the rain, and the timing was perfect. And that's the way summer is. You just got to get in there and do it sometimes. But I just want to really let you know that, because sometimes I think we watch other people's gardens and we think that everything is perfect and wonderful, and in real life my summer garden it's crazy. So just making sure you know that. But this is the perennial tour, and we're going to focus on our tropical perennials, and let's start with the bananas. And we have some bananas. Oh, I'm so excited about that. It was lying on the ground, as you can see. My husband came out and propped it up. But the plant that has tipped over with the bananas on it still had some life in it, and so that should be pumping some of the leftover life into our bananas to help it ripen on the plant. So that's really exciting. But we have a circle of bananas here, here's the other one with the bananas on it, and another one here, and also another bunch of bananas about to appear. This is a banana flower opening up, and inside you can see those are the bananas. This area here are the flowers that will open up and bees will pollinate it, and that is how we get our bananas. Oh gosh, so many things in here. I also have some taro hiding in here. This is not my main crop of it for sure, but this just shows you how strong and resilient that plant is, because those are tubers that were left behind from a couple seasons ago. But yeah, so many things here, not just the bananas. We have our kava plant that we got from our local plant festival. In fact, let me go take a peek at that real quick. I mean, it's looking better than it was before. I don't know, it just was not looking too good, but it's looking much better. It has a chance. Our dragon fruit, that its time is numbered, has not fruited for us, even though it is a self-pollinating plant, or I should say variety. Even a cassava down here, tropical root crop with the bird bath, very nice. And here is our peanut butter fruit tree. It is flowering and it looks so nice, especially with this rain we're actually getting. The only problem is that we are in 90-degree weather, and most things, when it gets to be that hot, it just can't pollinate. So that means no fruit or no seeds, because you need the flowers to be pollinated to get those. So we probably won't be getting any peanut butter fruit now because of the extreme heat, but as things start to cool off, we'll probably get our fruit then. And that's actually a lot with some of these fruits that you are going to be seeing here. So next to this peanut butter fruit tree, we are now at our yerba mate. This one is great for teas, great to wake you up and give you some good energy, and safe to drink too, instead of all those energy drinks and that sort of thing. Don't think it's gonna replace my coffee though. I do enjoy drinking that, but it's so good to have such an important crop on this property. And it's a tropical perennial. Before I get you into the main growing area, the perennial Mexican sunflower. It is huge. I think there's about 3 plants in this section. Gosh, I don't know if you can see very well. Well, you might be able to, but my goodness, we need to chop and drop this back. and take all of this. That's what we do. We chop and drop it and lay it in our garden beds. And this plant will break down in your garden beds, give you lots of organic matter to help build up sandy soils. That's what we have. And also give us some nutrition back in our soil, because this plant pulls the nutrition out of the ground, and as you chop and drop it and put it in your beds as mulch and it breaks down, it brings all that nutrition back in. And like I said, builds up your soil, because instead of just having sand, you're going to start building that organic matter, which is very important. Oh, and this is actually a papaya hidden in here. There's actually 3 papayas hidden in here. There's 1, 2, and where's the third one? Oh, he's in there somewhere. Ah, the sun is coming out. Let's see how far we can get. We're just focusing on those tropical perennials. So next to these garden beds, or I should say in the back, we have our sugar cane. Oh my gosh, they have really come back. You can chop them back when you harvest these stalks for your sugar, your syrup, and it comes back at the base. So yes, these are last year's plants that have been cut back, and they have come back from the base, and they're already starting to go past the fence. So this is already getting crazy here, which is great. And next to this beautiful spiderwort plant, another yam here. So many yams. I bought a yam, a name yam, at the grocery store, and I cut it up, put some wood ash on the exposed inside parts of it, buried it in the ground, and was very skeptical of them growing back, because you can do that with yams, but it wasn't an organic yam, so I thought it must have been sprayed with something, but we'll see. I had 7 pieces, and all 7 yam pieces grew. So we're going to be going around our garden and spotting them as we go, but that's number 1. Yep, and he's already getting crazy. And sweet potatoes in this bed. That is a perennial. I think it is the red-skinned one with white flesh, so that should be nice. We'll get into this bed next. First, lemongrass all around the property. Great for chop and drop and mulch as well. This is the Madagascar lima bean, and it just hasn't done a whole lot since I planted it. Got this at the end of April, and here we are almost in July. It does have some growth on there, maybe even some flower buds starting to form, but this is supposed to get really big, but it is a perennial. I hear that perennials can start out very slow, and you know, as the season goes on, they just start to move, they start to grow, and then there's just this point where they just explode in their growth, and you know, you definitely see the vigor in them. So I'm hoping that's with this Madagascar lima bean, because it's definitely starting out very slow. But I will keep it in. I will keep it in. This is the Indian burgherkin, that relative cucumber that I grow, that I can grow. But what's really cool about this one is I actually started this from a cutting, and I don't think you can do that with common cucumbers that we are familiar with. So that's really cool. It's growing so well. Trying to get it to show up. But there is a female bloom. Oop, keeps going out of focus, but well, hopefully you caught a glimpse, and hopefully we'll see more of this in the future. From that Indian burgherkin all the way to this bed. The African blue basil, a perennial basil. Looks really good. I've been taking cuttings from this and moving it around. It does flower, and there's some of the beautiful blooms. But from what I read, this does not go to seed, and it only can be propagated through cuttings, so I've been very, very diligent about that. And a lemon basil, but that is an annual. Another easy annual, the Egyptian spinach. This is so good. We were just taking some of this and having it in our salads just last night. They produce the yellow flowers, which then form the seed pods. I don't see, oh wow, actually. And yeah, those yellow flowers turn into these seed pods. They kind of look like okra, and I think they are related to okra. But you know, you let this dry on the plant, crack it open, and you have some beautiful, like bluish seeds in there. Very nice, very nice. And usually these young seed pods, I've heard somewhere that restaurants see them as a delicacy, and oh my goodness, this plant will load you up if that's what you would like. And another tropical perennial, my best looking one of my edible hibiscuses. I had this growing in the front yard and the soil was just way too dry and sandy for it. But the soil in this garden bed is much better. Needs to get weeded out, like I said, but it's just looking so much better. That is what I want to see, some offshoots, because I want that to continue growing so that way I can take a cutting and put it in a nice pot, protect it for winter, and then plant it out again for our summer greens, because this is great. The leaves of this particular variety will get as large as my dinner plates. So salad for your summertime. And we have been getting rains, so everything is looking so much better, and that also means so many self-seeded plants because of it. This is most likely the Ethiopian kale that has been growing in this bed in the fall and winter time. And if it keeps raining nicely and they get some shade, I mean, this could grow into something that we could definitely be eating. Also, some pink amaranth has self-seeded. I have not had a pink amaranth in this bed for a little while. I mean, it's been a number of months, but the seeds that have been dropped here are all coming up all over this bed. Actually been going in the pathways and all over my yard finding self-seeded plants that, you know, that look pretty good, and I say, oh no, let me get that out and stick it in the bed. And this is one of them, another pink amaranth. Probably didn't need it, but also that crazy herb, that Bolivian coriander. I found this growing in the walkway, and since my other one had died, probably due to some mole or something that was burrowing in the ground, I found a seedling after all this rain. And look at that, free plants. And that's something that you can think of too when you garden during the rain, you know, after a couple of rains. Go around, check around in the beds, check around in the pathways. You may find some free plants too. So from this bed and all these beds, more sweet potatoes. It's even growing up this peach tree that has not really been a success as far as peaches go at all. But it's definitely making a very nice comeback, even better than it did last year, if I remember correct. So we'll keep it going in hopes we get some peaches, but I won't count on it. But I am very excited for those sweet potatoes, because in this bed, I did not plant any of these for this year. All of this was self-seeded from last year. So beautiful. And sharing the sweet potato bed, of course, a boko spinach, Suriname spinach, waterleaf, goes by many names. Very nice green in salads. I enjoy it. I even cut the whole stalk, like I'll cut it back, take it in and take the leaves off, put it in the salad. But also I'll take some of the stem toward the top and chop that in my salad as well. It's very nice. And swinging around here, and we have a tropical root crop, perennial, cassava. And this, I mean, you definitely have to cook it as a root crop. You wouldn't want to eat it raw anyways, but it does have cyanide in it. But when you cook it properly, it's safe and tastes really good. I have so many of these around the property as well. And the plubago, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is so beautiful, and it probably needs a little trimming, but it has blue flowers coming up all around and more to come. In fact, future flowers right there. And amongst it, Thai soldier long beans. We'll see if it can outcompete this yam. Another yam. I think we're on our second yam. I don't know, I'm gonna lose track. But oh, yeah, it might win this trellis for sure. All right, going behind the bench. I was very shocked. I don't know if you can see within there, but that is the Jerusalem artichoke coming back, also known as sunchokes. I thought it was gone, so I planted in some more cassava here and thinking that that was gone. So now there's like 3 plants, 2 cassavas and the Jerusalem artichoke. So we're gonna see what happens there. Oh, this beautiful section. Very nice, very nice. I hope the camera can pick this up. But we'll start here. We have our Vicks plant here. This is supposed to help with if you have stuffy nasal passages. And scarlet sage. Oh, one of my favorite flowers. My husband was actually really wanting this flower. I'm pretty sure this is the one. He saw it at the park, and the way the wind blew it when it had the dry flowers, they let me see if I can show you, but the section where the seeds are, when that dries and that blows in the wind, it makes like a tinkling sound, almost like a bell. And my husband really liked that when he saw that at the park. And we've been looking to try to figure out what it was, and I'm pretty sure it was a scarlet sage, and it just looks so nice. It has really just exploded since with all this rain. And coming down here, and really down here, growing along the ground. I'll have to prop it up later. But another Thai soldier long bean. I just randomly put them in the beds here along the back of the fence because I had a lot of extra seed. That's why I say buy a lot of seed and save a lot of seed, because it's gonna help you plant more freely and hopefully get more plants. And you'll be seeing my other Thai soldier long beans, and I'm glad I did this. Oh, back it up a little bit. Our blanket flower. Oh, it's coming back so nice. It was not looking good. My husband really likes this flower too, and got that at the local plant shop, and I'm glad to see it blooming. And also, oh, I think it's called sunshine mimosa. We call it a Dr. Seuss plant because it gives these little pink powdery puffs that are very cute, and it just looks like something you'd see in Dr. Seuss's books. But yeah, this is going to be a ground cover. Planted that last year and was wondering where it went, but here it is. It came back. Amongst this grapevine that actually didn't really produce us much grapes, this variety, and I don't remember which one it is, but down here we do have the Vinca. Oh my gosh. Looking so much better again with all this rain. And I'll see if I can find any. Down away from it, we have a ton of self-seeded Vinca plants here. One here, a cluster of them here, and of course, ton of that Boko Boko Suriname spinach. Like I said, after rain, look around your garden beds, look around your pathways, you will find some free plants. And from this Vinca, I'll show you in this bed, more of the scarlet sage, a blue feathered lettuce starting to go to seed. It is an annual, but it is such a good summer crop here, my goodness. I go on talking about it thinking maybe it's considered a wild lettuce, and next to it, my best looking roselle plant so far. And it is just, well, let's get up in there a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but it is really dense. It's really branching out. This is definitely the best looking one. We will hopefully be seeing some flowers soon on it, and that is where we make our jam and make our teas with. And actually, it might be hard to spot. So from that great roselle bed, I do have a roselle popping up amongst the sweet potatoes, so we'll see. But looking really good, and something looking very good that's very shocking to me. I have a healthy looking watermelon plant. Oh yes, look at that. It is a Jubilee variety, and if you've been following me in the videos, you know that I am struggling with watermelon, and I could grow it very easily the first 3 years of my gardening, but last year and this year, not doing too well. I know, like I said, it's been also my toughest seasons for gardening with extreme heat, a lack of rain. I mean, now we're getting rain, but it's just been extra tough, so I don't know. I mentioned that I might need to do my timing a little different. That's something we'll be doing more in the future because, my goodness, before you know it, it is going to be fall planting. I was looking at the calendar and thinking we're almost in July, and that's when I start pulling out the seeds and start we start making our plans and doing some of our plantings. So yeah, be looking forward to that. I'm so excited. But I am so excited for this possibility of this watermelon. I mentioned this pepper in my tropical perennials video. It is the Aros Campolo pepper. If you saw my fall and winter tours I had done, this was the very large pepper plant that was extremely successful. And gosh, I don't remember where it originates, but I want to say it is in some sort of tropical area, no doubt. But this rain is definitely making it come back, and I see some blooms. Maybe we'll get some more peppers. It wasn't looking too good earlier, so that's great. And a grapevine that a lot of the wildlife have enjoyed, as you can see. And this below the grapes is a Panadol. I'll have to recheck the name to be sure, but this is supposed to keep rodents out. They don't like the smell of it. It's also some sort of pain relieving plant that I want to read more about. Yes, you heard me right. It is supposed to keep out rodents. The smell of it is supposed to be undesirable to them. And well, maybe they don't want to hang around it, but to go up this grapevine to get what they want, it probably doesn't have any effect on them then. That's something I always try to remind myself, is when we hear of certain plants deterring or doing certain things, it very well probably has properties to do the things that people are claiming. But sometimes, at least I myself, forget that that may not be the #1 solution going to take care of everything. I'm sure this plant maybe deters some of the rats from coming around it down at the base of my grapevine, but it's not going to stop them from, going along the tops. So it's just something to think about so you don't get discouraged or think that you've handled a problem or expect perfection. That's the way I approach it, so I'm not incredibly disappointed. But I have seen a lot of these kind of plants work. Like I said, it's just not going to take care of it perfectly, if that makes sense. But still very worth it. I've been taking cuttings and putting it around. Who knows, who knows. Eggplant can be considered a perennial here, although my giant eggplant that I had last year, ooh, this is the remains of that eggplant. It gave 45 fruit. I cut it back thinking that, oh yeah, it'll come back, and it looked like it might, but I don't think I cut it back too far. I've done this before with eggplant and it has come back fine. I just think it just did so well. It just said, you know what? I did my duty. I'm done. And you know what? I don't blame it. Like I said, I do have this one. I'm pretty sure that this is the eggplant, the second generation of the hybrid that I saved seeds from. Long story short, I had extra eggplant seedlings, decided that I wasn't going to plant them out, cut them at the base, left the pots in the sunroom, didn't think anything of it, and weeks later, buried underneath all my pots, they were growing back, and I thought to myself, you know what, they want to grow? All right, let's give them a go. Let's get them in the garden. And it is, I think, my best looking eggplant. Maybe this is going to be the star of our fall and winter season. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh, I see something. Nope, nope, a snail. Not this day. Ugh, oh, he's stuck on there. I don't know where he dropped. But we can't have that. All right. Oh, I just noticed. It's gonna be okay. My husband is watching, and I understand it looks like grass, but this is the society garlic. Like I said, we did some yard work, or my husband did some yard work, and that's okay. This society garlic got a trim, but it's still looking good. So I am not worried. Sometimes plants even get stronger with a little trim. Oh, here we go. The garlic vine. I have this also growing in the front yard. We'll hopefully be able to take a look at it. But this one is growing in a pot, looking very lush. I wish I kind of done this a little differently with it, but it was more just get it somewhere and there we go, and well, still we'll see, but it's looking really nice. The tender leaves are so good. Before we go there, let's turn ourselves around and go in the cornerstone bed. Focusing on those perennials. Here is another tree, a tropical perennial, the moringa, and this is not the dwarf variety, but the large variety. And I keep cutting it back, harvesting it, because if I don't, this is just going to go out of control. It's already way taller than me, and that is not the way I want it to be. So yes, I gotta come and get some more, but you might have thought that that was the trunk. Hopefully you're seeing it clear, but that is a seed pod, and my goodness. More sweet potatoes just kind of coming out. Another lemongrass. More of that blue feathered lettuce that, like I said, is an annual, but I always say this is a great summer crop. And Thai soldier long beans. This is the remnants of the tropical Three Sisters garden that I was trying to do. And I thought, all right, I'll just leave those noodle beans in there. Maybe it'll sprawl across the ground and we'll still get some beans. We'll see. Oh yes, and a roselle amongst this dead corn. But the roselle is looking really good. We have one here, one there, and one right there. So we came down this way. And also more of that Thai soldier long beans that is really starting to branch out, and maybe we'll start like sprawling, like I said. Better to trellis it up, but I'm gonna try letting it sprawl and see what happens. More cassava. I didn't mention this in my perennial video, but I did just put in a fig tree. My husband did get this at a very good deal, and I said, well, why not? We want to grow figs anyways. And I don't really want to put it in this bed because I like this to be more of my annual bed, but I haven't done it yet. But I hear and have seen on videos that you can really easily take cuttings from figs and propagate them that way. So that's something I do want to do, but sometimes it's important just to get things in the ground even if you don't want it where it is, especially when you can take cuttings from it, because I can easily do that and then just, I don't know, find another place for this tree or the cuttings. We'll figure it out. Just to give you an idea where we're at, we came from the cornerstone beds. Here's all of these large beds, which, by the way, I call the Titanic beds. I don't think I told you that in this tour in case you didn't know. But we are going to the rock bed, or what I call the horseshoe bed. And we will start right where I was facing originally. Blue feathered lettuce starting to go to seed. And finally, might be hard to tell, but here is the Thai soldier long bean finally doing something. It is all along here. Oh, good, good, good. I see a shoot of it going off the side there. I'll have to train that. Cuban oregano going nuts, but amongst it, again, finally, the Thai soldier long beans. More reaching. And another one going up, up, up. And who knows what that one is doing. These Thai soldier long beans were planted, I want to say April. I'll look at my notes. But I feel like, I mean, we're almost in July. I feel like we should be further along with these beans. And every time I looked at them, it was just a reminder to me of my very, very, very difficult season I'm having right now. I mean, this rain is making things look really good. And my husband mowing the yard makes things look way better because it was pretty crazy looking. But like I said, I accept that's our summer. But these Thai soldier long beans are looking much better. And really, I was beginning to question myself of what am I doing wrong, you know? But my dad, he's actually growing these beans because he asked me what is the easiest thing to grow in this time of year. And I said Thai soldier long beans. So I brought some beans over to him, planted it, and his are looking way better. I don't know if I'll have footage of that or not, but point being, way better. Encouraged me that, okay, I still know what I'm doing. Whatever's happening here, I don't know, but I'm glad to see it finally coming to be. And sometimes our gardens do that. They just kind of fool us, so I don't know, it's okay. It's part of the fun of the season, I guess. Oh, I mentioned in my video how I, long story short, might have accidentally killed my Egyptian walking onions, and I forgot. This is the last Egyptian walking onion surviving in my garden, and this has been here for, oh gosh, a couple of years. I have not seen it do its bulbing that it, not bulbing, but it sends up a flower stalk and sends these little, I call them, I don't know the term for it. I'll put it down here if I find it, but the it's not really seeds it sends up, but little baby bulbs, and it sets them up at the top, and then it weighs itself down, and then it plants itself, and it sort of walks across your garden. And I haven't seen any of that yet, and I'm wondering if it's because we don't get that cold. But either way, I'm just thrilled to know there's one surviving after these few years, but I haven't been eating from it because it hasn't really been too vigorous as the other ones I have grown. Either way, it's just cool to see. And a baby pigeon pea that I had found self-seeded in my walkway because of the rain, and I put it right here, so we're gonna see this grow if that continues. Oh, that would be crazy. More beautiful lemongrass. Lemongrass everywhere. And pretty soon, the dune sunflower with the way it's been taking over. Very beautiful, drought tolerant. Still loving this rain. More scarlet sage. And the cranberry, and also known as false roselle. And these are all self-seeded. And I'm going to be at some point selecting which one I'm going to leave here. This is actually last year's plant. If you saw the tours, I probably could just snap that at the base, honestly. But I leave things in the ground, let it break down. It becomes good organic matter to this sandy garden bed. And more dune sunflowers. Some spent blooms, probably some seed. And my husband just recently, like I said, mowed the lawn. And gosh, this was all out to where I'm standing right now. So vigorous grower, very beautiful, especially when it starts pumping out all its blooms. And another roselle. All right, getting out of the rock bed, passing up one of the many lemongrasses. Here is the strawberry guava. I haven't had any fruits on it yet, but it has bloomed a number of times. And this is growing in a large container. And it's still looking pretty darn good. This strawberry guava has been, well, I bought it first as like a little plant in a little 4-inch pot, stuck it in a large container, and it is still growing, and its leaves and everything are looking really good. It has not fruited yet. It could be a time thing. Maybe it needs to get larger. Maybe it's getting too much shade. I don't know. But it is just looking very good in the pot. And I always say when a fruit tree is looking good in a container, in a pot, it has my attention, because a lot of the times when I try to grow fruit in a container like this, it really is just usually not so good, even though I really do try to keep it going well. But I will say with the strawberry guava, long story short, I really thought I killed it. I even did the whole finger poke test to make sure if there's moisture in the soil. It was very moist, but you don't want to overwater it because it can kill it at the same time. So I thought, okay, I don't want to overwater it, and I don't know what happened, but just a couple days later, it just like gave up on life. The leaves were not glossy, they were brown, they were falling off, and I thought I overwatered it. I thought I killed it. And my husband went out there and checked it, and he said, no, it is completely dry. I cannot explain what happened, but he helped get it out, helped get it hydrated, and it had come back. I really thought it was a goner. I say this because, you know, in gardening so much, you know, we think we're doing the right thing, and sometimes we are, and just things happen that we still cannot explain, but you just never know. You just never know. I'm not going to get in there because it's hard to see, but there's a very, very large web in there, and I happen to know what is living in there. And with that said, I'm hoping to do a video on gardening with bugs, because I think bugs are one of the big things that people don't like to garden with, and hey, I understand I'm one of them, but I'm still doing it. I want to do a video on showing how you can garden with bugs too. I just gotta say, I know this is a perennial tour, tropical perennial tour, but my shishitos are still looking really good. All right, passing up the rock bed, everything that we have just seen. And oop, before I do pass this spot up, lemongrass, more Cuban oregano, and that crazy herb, the Bolivian coriander. I lost my other one that in the spot that we're actually going to be going to, but this one has really come to itself. It's looking good. But another plant I want to show you, I think it is a perennial. It is the samphire rock, and I planted this in the soup pot that is next to my cornerstone bed that I planted this there, hoping it would be for fall and winter. And gosh, I've planted so many of those seeds, only 2 come up. One came up like a couple years ago, and then this one did. And I happened to notice it, and it's so important in gardening and in life to really take initiative, you know, step up, even if it takes a few minutes that might inconvenience you. That inconvenience can really give you a chance, because I didn't want to go and spend my time getting that plant, but I'm glad I did. I took it out of that soup pot because I knew it wasn't going to be a good spot for it. And I actually stuck it in this bed because samphire rock, I read, does better with gritty soil, and this soil is very gritty. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's looking, I want to say better than before. It was actually the moisture in the pot that I put it in, just to kind of protect it until I got it out here, was very, very wet. And this does seem to like to get dried out a little bit, so we'll see. But I do see some new growth down there. I don't know if you can see that. So that's very encouraging. Very interesting green to grow. And of course, all these food containers, these were all from that growing in food containers video that I had done and released not too long ago. And some red amaranth have self-seeded in this pot, or food container I should say, and there's a couple more. How cool is that? And I do plan to do a video toward the fall, or I don't know if I'll release it then, but I will be redoing a lot of the soil in there, definitely not throwing it out, but adding to it, doing what I do to show you how you can reuse your food containers and grow more food in it. All right, continuing. There's that garlic vine we already saw. And here is the plumerias. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. I hope that you can see its beauty. I have the pink one. I have a yellow one. So much, so much. This is beautiful. More Cassava tropical root crop. And next to it, we have our Cuban oregano gone to seed. Very beautiful flower structure. The flowers themselves are falling out and it's probably drying up, but the bees have been on this. Very, very beautiful. And we have another edible hibiscus. Also, a lot of these edible hibiscuses are known as salad trees. Very wonderful salad green. I'm really trying to take care of these because I want to keep them going. I have learned they need good moisture and organic matter in their soil. So what has really saved them is not only the rain, but the mulch that we have put down. We just put down a bunch of oak leaves. And I also have another one right over here. And it's looking, I can't express to you, so much better. So much better. And something to think about. See this beautiful ground cover? This is actually considered a weed. And if you look up what a weed means, it's basically just a plant that you don't want where it's growing. And there's actually a lot of beautiful plants that grow up in our lawn that we are always just trying to get out of our lawn, but very beautiful plants. I'll see if I can find the name of what this is called, but it shows up every summer and it looks just so beautiful. So don't be so quick to get rid of what is called a weed or what is considered a weed, because it can be a very beautiful plant for your garden. Yep, I leave these all the time. I think they're just so beautiful, and I hope so much that you can see it on footage, because my goodness, if it grows so well, why not? And of course, another yam. There's the culprit of all that noise. Ugh. I can't wait for it to stop anyways because I have my neighbors going as well, and it's just the way it is in this corner of the garden. Oh, we got some more noodle beans. I'll have to try to remember to get them. Very nice. On a scrawny plant that's not doing too well right now. But some more CISO spinach here, and a little hint as to what's in our front yard. Very nice, very nice. And this here, I did not mention in my perennial video. Honestly, I kind of forgot about it, but I have not eaten from it yet. But it is called arrowroot, and it grows, it likes more shade. And in the winter time, it will die back, and that is when you harvest to eat it. And I just bought like a couple small tubers from the local plant festival last year, and it just really spread. And it's one of those root crops that once you have it in the ground, and if you miss a piece of it or two, from my understanding, you will always have it. That is arrowroot. And a katuk. This is looking, whoa, way better than it did before. It is like reaching up to the window. It wasn't like that earlier. Then here's another one. I really need to trim it back. A katuk. Oh gosh, I really do. Very good summer greens to have. I cook with it all the time. A taro randomly growing. Here's an idea. This is where the water pools up from our AC unit, and the taro root really likes a lot of water. And this does get shaded out. It just gets some morning sun and afternoon sun. So by the time our heat rolls around, or our sun, I should say, this is generally shaded out. So this is actually my little shaded garden area. Of course, like I said, getting some morning sun. But we have, like I said, the katuk. It likes some shade. Also our boko, our Suriname spinach, also called waterleaf, many names. And it's not in bloom right now. But our 4 o'clocks, oh my goodness. This is a flower that blooms in the evening time. It makes a very nice tuber in the ground, and then the plant will go dormant in fall and winter, and then just come back in spring and summer. And it is brilliant looking. Boko everywhere. Longevity spinach, oh yes, oh yes. CISO. Nice little ground cover, great for salads as well, and more Cuban oregano. And a go-to cola, another good salad green. Ooh, it is getting very hot. Let's take you out to the front yard and see what's going on before we end. So we're in the front portion of the yard, and we can see our butterfly peas. They look very nice, very nice. So beautiful. This is more of our garlic vine growing here as well. A slower grower, but really, I don't know, it's just starting to explode. But I just love this tropical perennial, and look at that double bloom. It looks like a blue rose, and not all of the ones I've planted look like that. Some of them have the flatter pod, but very nice. This is the one I've mentioned how I planted it last year. It set out a bunch of seed pods, and then all of a sudden just, looked dead, and then it came back. So look at that. I didn't even cut it back yet. And you can make tea with the flowers. Down here on the bottom, some cranberry roselles that I did not plant. And I don't know what this plant is. It is some sort of flowering perennial, but it loves the shade, and it just grows so beautifully. The bees love it, and it seems like once you have this, you just can't get rid of it. I think it's related to the spiderwort that I grow. More katuks all along the line, and in the front, that pink amaranth. Very nice. It was not looking good at all, but until these rains started coming, it started coming back. And these are some roselles that are growing in this bed that I'm trying to build up. There's a lot of sand in this area, but roselle is pretty slow growers anyways, and I'm just hoping they'll make it through because I did get them in rather late. And what is dying back and going to seed, but still looking beautiful, the Lagos spinach. Definitely not its prime right now, but the flowers are really nice. The bees love it. And moving on down, more pink amaranth. This is what I was raving about, and I still just love it. It looks so beautiful. You can eat the leaves. And like I said, this is looking really dead. But with this rain, it's looking great. It was looking so dead that I planted my chia cutting right next to it, thinking that this was gonna die and just kind of help feed this chia plant, but nope. The pink amaranth is looking good. It probably knew I thought its day was coming, and it showed me. But I'm just gonna leave it like this because, I don't know, I feel like it'll be okay. I don't know, we'll see. More roselle. And more roselle. And a very beautiful tropical sage, along with a bolting blue feathered lettuce. But the star of the show is at the top of the tree. It is the passion fruits. Oh my goodness, I will put a number on here of how many passion fruits we have so far have eaten. But I'll tell you what, those squirrels, don't worry, they are getting their fill. But I've just been throwing all of the fruits down at the bottom, and the squirrels have been getting them, but they have gotten so many. So not only do I have passion fruit going up the tree, but I also have fruit growing down at the base. Our pineapples. I can't believe I didn't mention this in my tropical perennial tour. This one's kind of covered up by this passion fruit vine I got to take care of. But another pineapple and another one. And I've been taking all the pine needles that have been falling off our tree and using them as mulch. And this looks really nice, I think. It does a really good job at keeping moisture in. Believe it or not, this is a coffee plant where you actually grow coffee, the coffee you drink. I mean, I'm not anticipating it to do much, but it was just a fun grow. Sometimes that's just fun to do. And I put in some Ciso spinach cuttings all behind this tree, along with some Okinawa spinach, which I also have growing here. This is the one with the purple leaf on the bottom, but it does seem to prefer like shade and moisture, so this is a nice little shady spot for it. It looks really good. And also in the front, I do have another chia. This is, I don't know, part of me is wondering if I should even continue growing this, because I don't know if you can see that, it might be hard to tell. There we go. I don't know, it could be mealybugs, could be scale. But when I see things like this, especially this plant where I can just cut it down, refresh it, and start over, I've done that and thought that I solved my problems, but no. It is still under every leaf and it's really hard to clean. You can eat the leaves of this tree and you just need to cook them first, but it is just not worth it with all of this. So I don't know, we'll continue growing it and I'll continue working with it. I might just have to bite the bullet and spray something on it, something that will be not horrible chemicals or anything, but I just don't even like to do that. So, I mean, we'll see. This particular variety does grow beautiful flowers and the bees and butterflies love it, and all the bees and butterflies are starting to wake up. They're actually starting to fly around me a little bit more, so yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's still a good green to grow. It's one I still recommend you try. And coming down, we have another vinca. This is I think they call it the peach variety, but it's a light pink. It is very beautiful. Heat and drought tolerant. Oh my, oh my. Ooh, maybe our ashwagandha will make it. We'll see. It's actually looking a lot better now that I quit doing anything to it. And another pineapple. In the carport, but we finally have some of our turmeric waking up. I don't know which one it is because birds have taken all my tags, but all of these pots are turmeric and they are slowly waking up. And the only one that has come so far, but I guess no surprise, is the blue turmeric with that wonderful, beautiful striping down the middle. They tend to like shade, so I like to grow them in my carport, which is it seems like a good place for them. It gives them all their needs, especially growing in containers. And I see another one popping up. And I have a sneaky feeling that might be an orange turmeric because I just used all the same soil. And if you miss a piece and it's planted at just the right depth, it will come back. So we'll see. This might have some blue and orange turmeric growing in it. But I do have a video of this, of me harvesting it. I have a video also of what I discovered while I harvested it, and what I believe it was that I found, and I did an experiment, and yes, as you can see, that experiment has worked. Along the front, a goji berry that I rescued. I thought it was gone. This is a goji berry plant I bought at the big box store in one of the, one of those little, I don't know, it was a tiny little plant. It's only like $10. And my dog, when she was a puppy, dug it up twice. So, and part of it was she left it in the middle of the yard all day while I was at work. So this tells you how hardy this plant was, and this was years ago. But we planted it in another part of the garden, and honestly, I thought it was gone because we did a garden project there, and I just accepted that it died, got buried. But then I found it, and I thought, okay, Natissa, let us give it, some extra attention. Let's dig it out there, put it in a nice pot, and see if we can get this going again, because it does grow pretty well. The only thing I'm struggling with, I don't know if you can see that the leaves are turning white, but there's a lot of red specks on there. I have a lot of spider mites, and you might have heard me say that I don't like to spray. It's not that I don't believe in doing it, because I know there's sprays out there that can be very, not so bad for our environment, but I just get annoyed of spraying. I don't mind doing soapy water. I think it's just because it's just another product to have to get, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I am pretty faithful at just spraying some soapy water on it, and I have had many plants come back with me just doing that, so we'll see. And also we have our ginger in containers, still looking good. It is definitely multiplying more than I think when we last saw it. And what is new to me, and I can't wait, the edible cactus. Oh, this is gonna be great. I'm expecting that there will be some new pads growing along the top on the edges, so we'll be seeing that as time goes on. I feel like there's so much to show in the garden, and I can't show it all, and there's a story and something to learn with each thing. But I do have an Instagram account. Some of you have asked, and that is a way to get into the garden more, and I try to get information and nice pictures out there for you to enjoy, but also with a little clip of something that you might be able to learn from too. I said we'd be finishing up, but I realized we need to finish up the back real quick. So let's continue with that. So coming back inside, my goodness, gotta cut this porterweed back. Very, very beautiful. I mentioned how I love the leaves and the flowers of this, and usually there's tons of bees and butterflies on this plant. But right now it's still kind of early in the morning where the bees have not woken up just yet. But along this side, I also have a cassava here and another chaya plant that you can cook the leaves. I'm thinking of taking this down, but right next to it, one of my favorites, the moringa. Oh, this is a great green to grow. Easy to grow here in our very hot climate, as I've mentioned before. And lots of drumsticks. And what's different about this one than the other one I'd showed you in the main gardening area is that this one is considered a dwarf variety, and I have about 3 of them here. And this one, believe it or not, this moringa was cut. Well, actually you can see it. It was cut right here. So if you can imagine, it was just this crazy little stick in the ground, or at least that's what it looked like. And it has grown an offshoot and a whole new tree top. And that's the thing with moringa, just keep harvesting it by cutting it back, and it's just gonna keep growing, growing, and growing. So in the future, you might see a lot of these moringa trees just a stick in the ground, but as I said, it's going to grow up, up, up. And along the ground, I have another yam coming up here, along with some CISO spinach, some aloe vera, and coming along here, another yam. There's actually 3 along here, and I feel like this is gonna get nuts. I did throw in some more Thai soldier longer beans kind of last moment, and these are one of my best looking ones actually. It's going up, up, up the trellis. And like I said, here's that 3rd yam. But we heavily mulched it, as I've mentioned before, and it's very hard to find things that work in this side of the house, but we are definitely finding a bunch of food crops and beautiful things. And that lemongrass is still coming back. All right, turning us around, it is the Puerto Rican black bean, as I've been so excited about, and next to it, even a taller and more healthy Puerto Rican black bean. I feel like they have really been taking their time at growing, but also it might be the location. They get some bright shade, but they also get a decent amount of sunshine, which they seem to like. And with the rains, these have been looking so much better, so much better. So I do have the 3 still going, and this, I don't know, it still has a chance to get really crazy here. And if it doesn't get taken over by these, it might get taken over by this, another yam. And in the middle of this whole area I just showed you is some longevity spinach. Very nice green. A nice large patch of CISO spinach, and more along the back into the Puerto Rican black beans. And one of my favorites, the mulberry. I do need to cut it back. There's a lot of new growth happening on it, so I probably could get more berries if I do cut it back. I've done that before. I've seen a few people talk about it and show it on their channel. Actually, it was the Wild Floridian. She learned it from somebody else, and she did it herself, and it worked. So I did it last year, and it worked for me too. So I might need to make myself cut this back and get some more. I really like mulberries. All right, coming out here. And here is the last section of the tour that we will go over. More of this Mexican sunflower, the perennial Mexican sunflower. Need to cut this thing back, chop and drop. And moving over here, the taro, a wonderful tropical fruit crop. We grow it in these large containers underneath our oak tree, underneath this crazy Mexican sunflower, because this root crop prefers more shade and definitely wetter soils. Very excited to harvest this during the fall time when it completely dies back. I had to come back, I forgot to mention. Next to this taro, we have our Jamaican cherry tree, also known as cotton candy tree, strawberry tree, although strawberry tree also is describing another type of fruit tree. But this fruit tree, despite our 90-degree weathers, is still fruiting, and this is very unusual. So yes, Jamaican cherry, strawberry tree, like I said, very nice plant, and it is growing in a pot, and anything growing in a pot I take special note of when it's a fruit tree, because yep, I have a hard time growing fruit trees in pots. Very beautiful blooms, and like I said, I just hope you can see that it is loaded with fruits. Very nice, very nice. All right, I'm moving over to this portion of the bed. Some of our last spiderworts here, probably enjoying some of that shade because it has been in the 90s. And I was very surprised to find a ginger has shown up. Very nice. I thought I lost them all in the gardens because of our heat last year and drought. Because of the rain, sweet potatoes galore. And amongst that, our cassava, which has definitely grown much taller with all this rain. And so has another moringa and more lemongrass. With all the rain, this has actually been one of my little favorite parts of the garden, believe it or not. Just so lush, so nice. Whew, it is hot, the sun is coming out. We have made it full circle, and why not end the tour right here where we started? I have mentioned before that this has been my toughest season yet, and in general, spring and summer here in subtropical Florida is a very difficult time to grow. But despite all this excessive heat and humidity And usually, like I said, the garden this time of year is full of weeds, overgrown, chaotic, very messy. There's still a lot going on, a lot of food, a lot of beauty, and I hope that it shows you that you can grow too. And don't forget, if you want to see more of these tropical perennials that I showed you on the tour, check out this video right here, because that has pretty much everything you saw here today, and I give a little bit more detail on each, and I hope to do more in the future, and all these other videos too, so enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.